If you have not received your ballot in the mail, call 844-428-8683 for your ballot. They're due November 14th, and to ensure you beat the deadline, I strongly recommend you overnight it to the IBT. Don't hesitate. One mark is all it takes to vote for Fred Zuckerman, Teamsters United South. Still, Hoffa ain't got no more fire in his belly to fight, and he has got to go. So vote, 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 Teamsters. Our future depends on it. Howdy, my brothers and sisters. I'm Sister Grace, broadcasting live from Humble, Texas, proud supporter of Fred Zuckerman and the elite Teamsters United. Leave it up to me to get to the bottom of things and expose the real truth. So this all started from me asking the rank and file membership a simple question. Stick with Hoffa or roll with Fred? Curious? I did make it clear I didn't know much. Well, I'll be doggone. It ain't take long before my local president, the most powerful Southern region muscle for Hoffa's treacherous syndicate, his royal court local 988, Robert Meatley, stormed down like a giant to stomp my support of Teamsters United. Now, I am up for a good debate, but his indirect innuendos and subtle condescending remarks are classic benchmark characteristics of a bully, and I had to nip that in a bud. That was a wrong move on his part. Don't bully Grace. Evidently, the rumors had him size me up wrong. No worries, he gonna learn today. Lesson number 1, when coming for Grace, don't. Lesson number 2, don't ever make the mistake of assuming anything about someone based on what you heard. Gather some courage to ask them yourself like I did. Ask Fred Zuckerman his side of the story. And now, for my exclusive interview with Lone Unionized Southern State, Local 89 President of Louisville, Kentucky, 2016 Teamster General President candidate, our very own brother, Fred Zuckerman of Teamster United. The very first question I asked him was about this letter on Hoffa's page. And this is what he had to say.
That was in 2000 when I had first taken over the local year. I had a new secretary, and she missed the deadline by one day. And the company took us on, and they extended the contract for a year. And it actually worked good for us because right now we have better contracts at that boatyard than we ever did. And one of the things you don't hear is you don't hear our guys complain about it, because they know that, because that happened, we're actually better off now than we was in the past. So that actually did happen. It was a mistake by the secretary. I take full responsibility for it. I'm not going to shove it off on nobody else. I mean, I was the guy in charge at the time, and it did happen. But that was 17 years ago.
The next question I asked him was, it was a comment on Hoffa's page about what he wants to do moving forward and how we must keep him in office. And here was his thoughts on that.
It's been a long time.
It's just cheap campaign rhetoric. I mean, it sounds good to say them kind of things, but it goes nowhere. And you're exactly right. He's been in office for 18 years, and he hasn't corrected. Just like the Mexican trucks. He said, well, I'm going to keep the Mexican trucks out of the United States. It sounded good at the time, but he's done nothing to do that. The biggest thing that we have going on right now is the attack in the Midwest on right to work. And all of the states, because of his weak leadership, is electing officials to pass these right to work laws. In the state of Kentucky, we're the only southern state that doesn't have right to work. And that's because we work very hard at it. We keep it out. And it's something that he could have done. Even in Ken Hall's local, West Virginia just passed right to work this past year.
No, they didn't.
Because they're not doing.
Are you serious?
They're not doing anything about it.
Oh my God. Yeah. Not West Virginia. And the economy in West Virginia is already slow. Oh my God.
Yeah. Well, I know this because, I'm the president of the Joint Council. Ken Hall's local union's in my Joint Council. And the funny thing about it, if you've seen it in the debate, he votes for me every time to be president of the Joint Council. He'll use that campaign rhetoric and he'll say, well, these guys got no experience and all that stuff. He votes for me every time I run. I've been Joint Council president for 15 years.
The next question I asked him was about sabotage going into office. When the incumbent leaves out, you got to worry about the people left behind, the workers, the secretary. And it was interesting to hear what his comments were on that. Good to know he'll be prepared.
I've got a lot of people in Washington that work for me now, a lot of lawyers and everything, so we're going to have a transition period where we can oversee things inside the building where they won't try to sabotage or anything like that. There's 4 things that are very important to me that have got to be corrected immediately to put the Teamsters Union back on track. One is that we got to eliminate the corruption. Our own members don't trust leadership because they think everybody's corrupt. And every time something comes up, it just reinforces that idea that they are corrupt because they see it every day. And the corruption leads to weak contracts and being in bed with the employers and all that stuff. And that's the first thing that's got to go. One of 3 things. The second thing is we have a huge problem with these multi-employer pension funds. We've got to correct that problem. And the third thing is we've got to organize. But more important, when we do all those things, and I believe doing those 3 things will start to put the union back on the right track. More importantly, we have to gain the respect of the membership. Because right now, the membership doesn't respect leadership. And until we get the membership to respect us, the union is going to continue to go downhill. We all got to work together. We all have to, further this thing and to accomplish all the tasks that we want to accomplish, like organizing and negotiating strong contracts and providing a better standard of living for our members. We're never going to get that done if we don't have the respect of the membership.
I loved his response because he's absolutely right. The next question I had to ask him was, what was he going to do about the southern region? In general, what is he going to do to help build and strengthen our union? And this is what he had to say. Help us down here in the South region, because we're proud Teamsters. No matter how small we are, we believe in you guys.
It takes leadership. It takes bringing everybody together. One of the first things that I'm going to do when I take the office is to bring all of the principal officers, Joint Council principal officers in wherever we're at, and we're going to discuss all these things. And we need to bring the strength back to the Teamsters. And if they're not willing to do that, they need to agree to step aside and let the younger group in that's going to further the cause. Look, this is all about taking care of the membership and their standard of living. Our standard of living should be greater than just the regular middle class because we are members of a union, a strong union, and we're not using that leverage to further that. And that's something that we have to do. I mean, you're gonna these guys that are in these positions that are supposed to take care of the membership, have fiduciary duty to take care of the membership, are going to have to go to work. There's too many of them right now come to work at 10 o'clock in the morning, they answer a couple phone calls, and they're done for the day. They're not doing anything. That's got to stop.
And he's absolutely right. It's got to stop. The next question I asked him was about his slate. What I really was impressed about, it was diverse. It had, if you could see here, 3 African-American men, and you had 2 women. It had basically a mixture of everyone, so it can improve effective representation. And this was his remarks on that. Not kind, but just give me your opinion so I can spread the word.
So one of the things that's different about our campaign and their campaign is we don't have to lie about it. Our campaign is all about talking about the issues. And if you've seen the debate, that's the first thing I said. I'm not going to sit up here and throw a bunch of jabs and everything. I want to debate the issues because the issues are real issues. Well, they want to stay away from that. That's all they can do is tell lies and all that kind of stuff. At the convention, there's a lot of committees that meet at the convention. One is the diversity committee. And this long time. In fact, they wrote a scathing report against the IBT, saying that at the last convention 5 years ago, they gave them instructions to start including people and diversifying the local union or for the international union to be a success. But you don't hear anything about that because they kind of ignore that. And that's wrong. If we don't all come together and solve these problems, we're going to have more problems built up into the future. So let's talk about some of the candidates. And I'm very proud of the candidates that we picked, and all they want to do is bash these people, right? But like Sandy Pope has been around as long as I've been around. She's worked at the International. She was an organizer. She run a local union. She's done a lot of good things, but more importantly is that she's a reformer. She does not agree with the current administration, with the corruption and the weak contracts and no vision for the future and all of those things. And that's the kind of people that we need. Kim Schultz just won her election down in Florida. She's a public service employee, and she's an attorney. She went to school at nighttime while she was working in the probation office, became an attorney, and very smart woman, and she's going to be a great asset. We have a couple African-American gentlemen on there. Jerry Yarbrough is probably the guy that Neely was bashing from Memphis. Jerry's a great guy. Been around a long time. He was an officer of that local union. He works in the freight industry. He's a Teamster for a long time. He's a veteran. So was Willie Ford.
Yeah, it was Willie Ford. He didn't say anything about Yarbrough, but Willie Ford he threw under the bus. And then he said that Sandy Pope bankrupted her local.
Well, you know what? That's not true. She merged her local with another local because numbers are getting so small. There's been 172 local unions merged in the 17 years that Hoffa's been in office because they're not organized. Now, that's not the local union's fault. That's actually Hoffa's fault because he's not supporting the local unions to organize. So that's a big number. He wants to pick on her, but that's a big number, and that, even Ken Hall's local, and I brought that up in the debate. His local union has dropped by 24% in the last 17 years that he's been around.
Wow.
The union has grown 26%. So, just shows that something's going on there that needs to be fixed. We got to support these local unions.
I loved him saying that he needed to support the locals because that's what we really need. The next question I asked him was about what Robert Mealy alluded to that disturbed me was the car haulers. Don't get me wrong, I could debate, but when my opposer says something, I like to check it out because if I'm wrong, I'll recant. But this is what he had to say. Haulers. I think he said close to the numbers of 18,000 car haulers had lost their contract or something. I don't know. Does that sound familiar? And I think I heard Ken say something about that too.
He doesn't know what he's talking about. And, I was the director of the car haul division until Hoffa fired me when I ran against him last time for 7 years. I've been on the car haul negotiating committee for 25 years. I know a hell of a lot more about car haul than Robert Mealy does. But one of the things that's very important if you need a response to Mealy is ask him how many unionized car haulers he's got in Houston. Because there is no more. He's just got a few. My local union, in contrast, we have the largest car haul membership in the country. And we have no non-unions working anywhere in my jurisdiction. We got 3 plants, 2 railheads, and I'll put my numbers up against Mealy's any day. So, he's just mimicking. He's just, spreading stuff that's being spread by the IBT in the campaign, but quite frankly, he doesn't know what he's talking about.
There you have it. The next question I asked was just basically the whole ideal of moving forward. A lot of these business agents and officers stay in the loop because of the fringe benefits. And this is what he had to say in that response. So, I thank you for being strong. I thank you for being a Teamster.
It was the right thing to do. I didn't have to do that. I didn't have to run against them. I could have kept giving them campaign donations and kept that job and living good. But you know what? It wasn't the right thing to do. I mean, there comes a time in your life you got to do the right thing, even if it hurts a little bit. And that's what we've done. I think the members are being hurt by their leadership right now, and that's got to change.
It does, and you're right. I asked him about the letter that claims that he's so angry, and I just really feel that's kind of childish, because when you don't go by somebody else's rules, they say, oh, well, you just mad, you just upset, but that's farther from the case. And this is what Fred had to say.
The letter to Hoffa, and I refused to write the letter. And if you watch the debate, about halfway through it or so, you'll see that conversation with her. And Ken Hall was standing right next to me, and he didn't refute it at all. We were at a joint council meeting in December of 2009, I believe it was, and he wanted to get me on the executive board, and he asked me to write a letter, and I told him I wouldn't do it. Well, he had Rich Lebo write the letter for him. And I signed it. I won't deny that. I signed it. But I had already made up my mind I was going to run against him anyway. Because I did run against him that same year. And that's the year that he tried to bribe me and offer me a job and a pension and everything else like that, where I wouldn't run against him.
See? Trying to make his network stronger to keep him in there another 23 years. Not about my vote. And last thing, I asked him his blessing to go ahead and reveal this interview. And such an honorable man. This was his remark.
Sure.
You as real as it get. Thank you so much, Brother Fred, and good luck on your campaign.
Okay, Grace. It was very nice talking to you.
All right. You take care.
You take care.
So there you have it, my brothers and sisters. The 2016 Teamster General President candidate, our very own Fred Zuckerman, his side of the story. He has nothing to hide, genuine union spirit to truly protect our wages, benefits, working conditions, our right to collectively bargain. There is no comparison. Don't hesitate. Mark the slate. Fred Zuckerman, Teamsters United for a stronger union.